Sports Talk Chicago, Jon Zaghloul, John Meadows directing and producing, and here with us still for segment number 2, head coach Jay Gruden, Washington Commanders, former head coach, former NFL quarterback, Super Bowl winning coach with Tampa Bay. It is great to have him here with us. Got a lot out of segment 1, certainly learned a lot. Wanted to get your take now, Coach, on the current state of the Commanders. So since you left, there's been some changes for sure. Now there's a brand new, essentially rookie quarterback. What do you make of their 2023 season so far?
I'm sure everybody's disappointed and really unsure why it's happened the way it's happened. Well, number one, the defense is supposed to be dominant. You know, they had 4 first-round draft picks on the defensive line. I mean, that's a lot. And their defense is supposed to dominate, and they haven't done that. Their secondary has been poor. They haven't really got the pass rush they need to get to be great on defense. Linebackers have struggled at times. And offensively, they've been up and down. They haven't been able to protect Sam Howell. They've given up 41 sacks. That's hard to deal with. Sam Howell has shown a lot of progress, a lot of hope for the Washington franchise because he can grip it and rip it. He can face pressure. He can throw it under duress. He's done a lot of great things, but the protection has been an issue. So overall, I think with the negative plays on offense and a lack of turnovers on defense and to get off the field in crucial situations on defense results in a 3-5 start. They have good players on that football team, and they still have a long way to go. Somebody is going to get that 7 seed in the NFC, and it's going to be Washington. It could be Minnesota. It could be New Orleans or Atlanta, whichever one of those teams. But they're still in the thick of things to get in the playoffs if they can turn it around, do better on defense, and then continue to protect Sam Howell because he's got some talent.
There have been rumors swirling about this, and you brought up the playoffs. Do they need to make the playoffs in order for Coach Ron Rivera to stay?
You know, that's not up to me. I think they do need to show significant progress. You know, I think the Giant game and the Bear game was really hurtful to that organization and to that coaching staff. Now, they did turn it around. They played better against Philly, but you still lost the game. So they have to turn around and get some wins. They have to get some wins. They can't have any of these, what are they? I don't know, these mental victories or what are they, whatever they're called. They have to actually get victories because they're too good of a football team to not to beat the Giants or the Bears at home on a Thursday night football game. No offense to Bear fans.
Oh, no, we don't take any offense over here. We did a live stream for the game, Coach, and we were stunned watching the game and seeing how that one went. But when you watched it, what did you think?
I was stunned as well. You know, the way the Bears looked, I mean, especially on offense. I mean, they looked like they were on point. It was a great game plan they had. They were aggressive. They went after the corners. Justin stood in there, threw the ball, got DJ Moore involved early. I was very impressed with that game plan by Chicago. So Luke Getsky he dialed it up beautifully. And then Washington just had no answer for, you know, the pass rush or offensively to get anything going.
You mentioned Sam Howell certainly has talent. He has shown a lot of progress. I'm a huge fan of him from what I've seen. What do you think his future could be in the NFL?
You know what? For a guy he played 1 game last year, now he's played 8 this year. You gotta love what his future might bring, right? I mean, he's tough. You can tell he's physically tough. He's mentally tough. You know, obviously he's got to get more consistent with his accuracy from time to time. But the sack issue, now it's not all on him, obviously. Maybe it is pre-snap. Maybe he's not making the right line calls. That's what I don't know. But you can't get sacked 5, 6, 7 times in a game and expect to be a great quarterback. It just can't happen. You got to be able to throw the ball away, know where your checkdowns are, know how to protect yourself by adjusting protections. And that might not be on him. It could be on the offensive line coach, a quarterback, or the center. Who knows? But that can't happen. So we got to get a little bit more accurate and protect yourself a little bit more. But I love the upside of Sam Howell because he can make the throws and he's a tough kid.
If you were still head coach, what would you do to ensure success out of him in development like you did with Kirk Cousins?
Well, they had a great game plan last week against Philadelphia. You know, they got the ball out of his hands quick early, got him some confidence going, got some completions going. I think he was 4 for 4 for only about 25 yards, but still that does a lot for a quarterback's confidence moving forward. Then they got up some quick games, some 3-step. Then they did some play actions, got him outside the pocket. And then they started to push the ball down the field a little bit, and they had some success. So that was a great job by Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I think that's what you have to do for a young quarterback, very similar to what they did with Tyson his first game against the Raiders. He threw 7 screens. He threw 5 bootlegs. He threw a couple quick games. Then when he had to throw the ball down the field, the minimal times he didn't make mistakes. He checked it down when he had to. And that's what you have to do to manage a game.
He's not going to be the guy here in Chicago, right? But what did you think about Bajan and him in general? I mean, he's certainly a competent NFL backup at least, right?
Well, I mean, it's too early to tell, but I think after the Raider game, I mean, he showed that. He showed the poise and he showed a few throws down the field. But mainly, I think he was protected by the offensive coordinator, and they were very simple, and he had a good, strong running game, and they played with the lead. Now, how he plays from behind like he had to against the Chargers is a little different story. So, but he's young. He hasn't had many reps. I mean, you think about it, in training camp, how many reps did he get? The whole thing about being a quarterback is you have to have a lot of reps. My first year at Cincinnati, we drafted Andy Dalton in the second round. We knew he was going to be the starter, so he got every rep in training camp, every rep in the preseason games. So when the regular season comes, he at least had some reps. Tyson, he probably got, 6 reps a day in practice and training camp, and maybe gets scout team during the season. And now all of a sudden you're the starter. So give him a chance, give him some more reps and see how he does.
What's your philosophy on quarterbacks in terms of starting them or sitting them the rookie year? Because I remember with the Dwayne Haskins situation out there under you, you guys decided to sit him initially, then put him in. So how do you balance, or how do you determine which quarterback should start game one in their rookie year versus who should sit and learn more on the sidelines?
Well, it depends on the quarterback and how much they can handle. Because if you're a drop back quarterback like Dwayne was, you have to handle a lot of information with the protections and coverages and formations and all that stuff. If you're more of an athletic quarterback where you're doing some zone reads like an Anthony Richardson or some of these other bigger quarterbacks and quarterback designed runs like Jalen his first year, you can get away with a little bit less inventory because you have those plays that are pretty easy and more natural for them to do. So it depends. Some quarterbacks can pick it up quick, some can't. Andy Dalton picked it up extremely quickly, and some others just struggle with it. But at the end of the day, for young quarterbacks to play, you have to be patient with them. You have to have a good, strong running game to help them, a good line. And really what helps a lot is a good defense. Like Cincinnati, we had a great defense in Cincinnati, so we didn't have to score 30 points a game. And I'd go in there to Zimmer and Paul Gunther and say, hey, what's the number? They'd say, hey, anything over 18, we got it. So, 3rd and 8, I might call a screen pass, be more protective of the young quarterback. But if you have to score a touchdown every time, that's hard. But it just depends on the player and the situation that you're in and the franchise that you have.
Got Coach Jay Gruden here with us on Sports Talk Chicago. Jon Zaghloul here with you. John Meadows directing and producing. Coach, wanted to talk about your career, your coaching career, your playing career. Do you have any aspirations of coaching the NFL again?
Who knows? Right now I've been out a year and a half, and my last couple of years weren't very successful. In Jacksonville, I was offensive coordinator, 1-15, and Coach Marone's last year in the COVID year. That was quite a nightmare. We played 3 quarterbacks that year. Jake Luton and Mike Glennon and Gardner Minshew got hurt a little bit. Last year in Washington, we played with 3 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks the year before that. So, if I got a chance to coach again, I'd like to have a quarterback that might play and stay healthy and be very, very good. But I don't know if I'll get that opportunity or not.
I recall when you were hired by the Commanders at the time, you were touted for your offensive genius, and there's certainly a lot of that still with you. Just theoretically here, what if the Bears came calling after this season? If they changed coaches or made some turnover, would you be open to doing something offensively with the Bears, whether it's coordinating, whether it's being an analyst, anything of that nature?
When I was little, my dad was a coach at Notre Dame, and the Bears were my favorite team, Walter Payton growing up. So I'd always entertain a Bear offer. But right now they have a good staff, and they're doing a good job. And let's let this season play out. Let's see how they improve. They get Montez Sweat. Let's hopefully Justin Fields comes back, see if he can improve a little bit, and then we'll make a determination there on the staff. But I think Coach Eberflus is a good coach, and Luke Getzke's done a good job with the young quarterback that he has, Tyson and Justin. They've had their ups and downs, but hopefully they get it figured out. Would
you be open to a head coaching position, more of a coordinator? Are you open to anything, or are there specific positions that you're kind of looking at right now if you evaluate?
I don't know if I'd ever get that opportunity, man. I'd love to talk to anybody about any opportunity there is. At the end of the day, whether I'd take it or not is yet to be seen, but I don't know if I'd get offered anything anymore.
How did you feel about the end of your tenure in Washington?
It was a little bitter. I love some of the players that I miss those guys and some of the coaches, but we had a lot of things going on in the front office that we disagreed on there at the end, and kind of got standoffish there towards the end. It wasn't a very good ending. I wasn't allowed to talk to the team after I got let go. They made me out to be a villain.
Wow.
Worked extremely hard for that organization, and it wasn't a great exit, in my opinion. It wasn't handled very it wasn't very classy, for the amount of time and effort that I put in to help build that football team to get shunned out of there. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Are you on good terms with the team or the franchise today at all, or not really? I know ownership's kind of changed. Is there any?
Yeah, ownership has changed, and I know Coach Rivera a little bit. I don't really speak to anybody. I have a couple coaches there that I still speak to that were on my staff that I care about a lot. But other than that, no. And some of the players, I talk to once in a blue moon, but not really. Time goes on. Nothing as old as yesterday's hero.
Yeah, I understand that, but I am stunned to hear that they didn't let you address the team when you walked out. Has that ever happened to you before? Like in other positions that you've been in, have you been allowed to at least address the team or say, hey, goodbye, I'm moving on, or, I was let go? Is that commonplace? So. Or
I don't know. I think it's different in different places. I don't know if Josh McDaniels got to say bye to his team or not. Who knows? So it's just some owners and GMs handle it differently. Some let their coaches say bye to their team, so long, see ya. It's just different.
Wow, that is stunning information, at least for me to hear. It's Coach Jay Gruden here on Sports Talk Chicago. Coach, just a few more questions before we finish up here today. Your thoughts on the Commanders' name change? I know they were the Redskins back when you coached them.
You don't know me very well, do you?
I guess not.
Yeah. I'm on record to say they should have changed their name. I'll get trouble for that and all that stuff. But, I guess if it offends somebody, maybe change the name. But I don't know who it offended. I haven't met anybody ever that it offended. But, you would know more than I am. I'm not very active on social media. I have Twitter right now for the first time ever. But, I think the Redskins is a historic name. It meant a lot to this NFL team. The rivalry with the Cowboys and Redskins was sure. Legendary. The Commanders and Cowboys just quite isn't the same to me.
Fair point. I can't say anything else other than that. I mean, I've heard people say the same thing, so I've heard both sides of it. I've heard fans say both sides of it too. So very curious and interesting to get your perspective on that. I enjoyed hearing that.
It's a team name, but a lot of people who played for the Redskins back in the day take a lot of pride in the history that they provided for the franchise and the name. But oh well, it is what it is.
What was your best achievement as a head coach?
Oh boy. Probably get my second contract with Dan Snyder. No, I think our second year when we were about to get fired, probably after year one we struggled. I think we were 4-12, and then year two we started out shaky, 1-4 maybe. I think we won 7 in a row and get to the playoffs. We lost to Green Bay in the first round, a pretty good game, but I think taking the team to the playoffs after just a year and a half or two in my second year was probably the best achievement.
Are you allowed to tell us about the contract negotiations with your second contract there with Dan Snyder?
Yeah, they offered me a lot of money and I signed it, so it wasn't that hard.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure because
in hindsight, I wish I would have got a little bit more power of personnel and decision-making and free agency and all that stuff. However, I didn't, but it was still a great opportunity and I appreciate the opportunity. Don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful. I'm very grateful. Had a great time there.
Let me ask you this to end, maybe a two-part question. I'll ask this one first. What was your funniest moment in terms of coaching? Funniest moment that you were a part of?
Funniest? Good Lord, is that an off-the-wall question? I think you just have a lot of times within the organization at practice and in the meeting rooms, there's a lot of good times and a lot of laughs. There's a lot of stress and a lot of work and a lot of not very much sleep. But I think just the camaraderie with the players and some of the other coaches, I think is what it's all about. And there's always going to be laughs throughout the course of a day. You'll laugh at something, but to name one thing, that's hard to do.
What about your toughest spat with the media, or your toughest approach with the media?
The toughest one was probably my first year with Robert Griffin III. He came out in the media and it was a misunderstanding. He came out and kind of said that, if the people around you don't play well, the quarterback doesn't play well. I kind of took it as offense to he was throwing the players under the bus that he played with. And then I came out and said, Robert needs to worry about himself. So then I came out to be a Robert hater, and it wasn't like that. I was just trying to get everybody on the same page to do your job. If Bill Belichick says, do your job, it's okay. He's the greatest coach of all time. If I say it, I'm a hater.
Well, Coach, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us here today. This was an amazing interview. We learned so much. We got so much insight, and I would love to do this again soon, seriously, especially as the year moves forward, as free agency and the offseason kicks in. Let's have you back on if you're okay with that. I really appreciate the time.
I have a lot of free time now.
That's head coach Jay Gruden here with us on Sports Talk Chicago. What a great segment. We're going to be back talking a lot of Bears. Montez Sweat. So many things going on in Bears universe. We're going to get to that right here. Stay with us, all of you watching and listening on our great affiliates. This is Sports Talk Chicago.